All right, everybody, welcome back to our final Carcass album review that we're going to be looking at here. Of course, we're talking about the 2021's Torn Arteries. And I say final by really final at this point, right? I mean, I'm hoping these guys drop at least a single soon, right? It's been about 2 years, but I don't think this will be the last Carcass album we ever get. Which, of course, if when that time comes, if that time comes, they release another album, EP, or something like that, we'll just review that and update the ranking like we've done here before. But yeah, this is the most recent Carcass album to date. Torn Arteries here. Love this album art. The little vegetable heart. I mean, it's just very genius artwork there. And then it's funny on the back you got like pigs, the shape of in the shape of a heart here. And I love to like on the I'll pull out the booklet here. It's like it shows like a time lapse in a way of this vegetable heart just kind of rotting away and just kind of getting nastier and nastier. And really, the more you look at it, the more it's looking like an actual heart, the more it deteriorates. But yeah, really, really cool packaging. And really cool artwork. One of my favorite album covers of theirs for sure, because just how kind of clever and unique it is. But yeah, this one I remember. Like I said last time when we covered the EP Despicable, I remember that. I was a Carcass fan by the time that was coming out and everything. So the hype was real for that, and man, the hype was that much more real whenever they started dropping singles for this full-length album 2 years ago. And man, the hype was real. I'll tell you that. And to kick things off here, we start right off with just a perfect way to open it. The title track, "Torn Arteries." Man, just fast-paced, heavy. These guys still got it. Still got it. And are just kicking ass and taking names right off the bat with this title track here. And I just love the brutality that they're showing, that they still got right off the bat. Torn Arteries. Just awesome track, which I think was the perfect opener for this. Then we go on to this one was I think either the first or second single they dropped here. "Dance of Ixtab, Psychopomp and Circumstance, March #1 in B." Right? Those kind of crazy long song titles that they've, famously done before. This one's right here, and much like a Pomp and Circumstance, it's got that kind of rhythm to it, like kind of a clapping kind of rhythm going on to it at a lot of it. And I mean, this one is a great one. Another great one. I think it was a great choice for a single. A really cool rhythm to it that I totally dig. And I just think it was this one as well as the next one or two, because I can't remember if one of these was a single or not. I might be mistaken on, but I know the track number 3, "Eleanor Rigor Mortis," right? Which is a super clever and funny title. Eleanor Rigby. The Beatles song. So I guess they're that was their kind of spoof on Eleanor Rigby, the Beatles song. But yeah, freaking funny side of the band that they like to show and a lot of stuff, especially on these past 2 EPs, or really Surgical Remission. We saw kind of some of their humor come out. But yeah, this another great choice for a single. I think this may have been the first single that dropped, and man, just absolute badassery from beginning to end on this one here. Eleanor Rigor Mortis was, I think, the perfect single to drop. This one and the Dance of Ixtab, those two really showed and capture what the feel of this album is all about. Like just the brutality. There's still that melody that goes on with this, but I mean this is very much in the same vein as kind of combining those elements from maybe their necroticism and back catalog with their Heartwork and Up catalog and kind of, merging those together. Then we go with Under the Scalpel Blade, and that's the one I can't remember if it was a single or not. And honestly, I think the reason I'm kind of forgetting if it was or not is because, it was on the Despicable EP that we covered last time. And, really, I don't notice any. Maybe I got to hear them back to back, like play them, play one and then play the one off here. I don't think there's any difference in between the two recordings. I think they must have just dug that song so much that they threw it on here because, and then it's one of the best songs off here. I mean, hands down, definitely is. And and it was one of the best songs off Despicable. So it made sense to kind of toss that on here because it's such a kick-ass song with a kick-ass riff. Love the chorus, just brutal. I mean, hell, this could have been the opener as well. It would have been a great opener, just to kick things off. I mean, but Torn Arteries, again, I think that was probably the best choice for the opener. Then, man, this one is one that I totally forgot how much I love, man. The Devil Rides Out. This one is just brutal, right? I mean, just the lyrics. I mean, it sounds like I'm listening to Possessed or something, right? Very brutal lyrics that are just, dark and evil. And, I mean, it straight up sounds like, really, it sounds more like a Deicide than Possess, right? But, I mean, it definitely gives me vibes of them, and I like that kind of, maybe that was kind of throwback to those bands with this song, but either way, I mean, it's one of my favorites off here. It's one of the heaviest ones off here and is just up there in the upper, echelon of tracks on this album. Then we go with, man, we got an epic. This one is like, I'm talking in the lengths of, I mean, I think it's like 9 minutes and some change, right? And it is definitely the longest track off here. One of their longest songs of all time, if I'm not mistaken. I know Necroticism had a lot of lengthier tracks, but Flesh Ripping Sonic Torment Limited. And man, this track just, it evolves so much. I mean, you've got a lot of awesome sections within this, very kind of, taps into that kind of progressive side of them even more that, again, was that they explored a lot on Necroticism. And so, and considering it, if y'all saw how much I love that album, I was like, hell yeah, give me a 9-minute just kick-ass tune right there, because it's one of the best ones off here. Just the development of each of these riffs and that kind of and soloing that goes on within here, and just the different portions of this song that make up this, this awesome 9-minute piece are just fantastic. Love it. Then I remember this one being a single, if I'm not mistaken, Kelly's Meat Emporium. Of course, I think they're talking about Jeff Kelly, right? And this one's another really, really solid freaking tune that I remember. Hell, that one may have even been the first single that dropped. And if I'm not mistaken, it's been, 2 years, right? But so I can't remember which order these singles came out, but I know each time they were dropping, I was like, hell yeah. And I think it was another great choice for the single off here. Really, really badass riff that goes on with this one. Then we go with another one that I forgot how good it was, and that's become one of my favorites. In God We Trust. Man, the riff on this one is just, it sounds kind of doomy at first, man. Like just the bend. I mean, it is just freaking powerhouse of a riff. And of course, then you start getting things speeding up and everything in it. Got a really sick chorus, but man, yeah, I forgot how much I loved In God We Trust. Whenever I was jamming to this again, they got to that just doomy, that bend riff. I was like, ooh, okay. This one is one I totally forgot how much I liked. And like I said, it's become one of, if not my favorites off here. Then we go with this next track, the second last one, Wake Up and Smell the Carcass / Caveat Emptor. And another just sick one. I mean, this one sounds like it could be, possibly even, I mean, and it's kind of a shorter one, quick and to the point, but just brutal in every sense of the word, really hooky, kind of offbeat kind of chorus. And with the wake up and smell the carcass, I mean, just awesome, awesome. And it sounds like something that possibly could have been off, like maybe, to me, like Symphonies of Sickness or something like that. Or maybe lengthwise, but maybe as far as like the songwriting goes, I'd say probably maybe sounds like something that'd be off Heartwork or something. Um, but yeah, what I mean by being, it doesn't really sound musically like something off Symphonies of Sickness. I'd say more of just like it being a quicker track and just straight to the point kind of track. Then we've got, man, another just top tier one that is one of my favorites, the closer here, which I think closed out the album perfectly. The Scythe's Remorseless Swing. And, it kind of has this, it starts off with this kind of slower riff that's kind of, it's a perfect kind of building up to this, to this closer here. And it's kind of got like a fuzzy kind of tone to this little opening riff that they got going on here that just kind of slowly builds, and then, it shoots you off like a freaking roller coaster. And it's just a fantastic track. One of my favorites off here. And again, a perfect way to wrap up this album. And, as you can see, yet again, Carcass knocked it out of the park because there's not one bad song on here. If I had to say maybe my least favorite, that's even tough. That is very tough, actually. I would maybe say, Dance of Ixtab, Psychopomp and Circumstance, March number 1 in B. That long, bulky title, or Dance of Ixtab for short. I maybe say that's my least favorite, or maybe Kelly's Meat and Pork. It's really tough, right? Because all this is just such solid material. And again, my favorites have got to be, the title track, Torn Arteries, The Devil Rides Out, Flesh Ripping Sonic Torment Limited, In God We Trust, and, the Scythe's Remorseless Swing. I'd even say Wake Up and Smell the Carcass is one of my favorites off there. And Eleanor Rigor, hell, I could just list the whole damn album because it's so freaking good. Fantastic album that these guys, they've still got it, after all these years since, the late 80s. The voices sound the same. The riffs are still just sick as ever, if not even hookier at some, times than their older stuff, and so, this album, even after I first ever listened to it all the way through and finished it, I'm like, man, I'm ready for another. Carcass, let's go. Give me another EP, drop a single, give us another album, man, because this thing right here is just, don't get me wrong, it satisfies your taste for the Carcass, right? But it just makes you craving a little bit more at the same time, because you're like, man, this is so good, I want some more. Let's drop another one. And you never know. Maybe we'll get one this year, a single drop or something. They've kind of been, sporadic with their releases. They had the big comeback with Surgical Steel, and then dropped the EP the next year. Then, 6 years later, we get the EP of Despicable, and then the year after that, this one. So maybe they just are kind of going at their own pace. But anyways, guys, yeah, what do you guys think about the most recent Carcass album, Torn Arteries? Do you guys like it? I know it's going to be a very tough comparison, especially between this one and Surgical Steel. They're a lot alike, have very similar production and songwriting qualities to them and everything. So I know, at least whenever I do my ranking, that's going to be kind of hard to decide between those two, big kind of comeback albums for them. So between Surgical Steel and this one, do y'all like better? Because I know that's something I've kind of, gone back and forth with in my mind. But we will get to the bottom of it next time when we do our album ranking of Carcass. That's right. We're there. We've made it. We're going to rank every Carcass album. And then in that video, of course, we're going to announce the next band, which is going to be kind of a smaller discography, how we kind of do that in between these bigger discographies. Not a one-off this time, not a one and done, but this time, yeah, it'll be a smaller discography, a good 3 or 4 albums. So stay tuned for that announcement coming up, of course, as well as ranking every Carcass album. So guys, drop your comments down there. Let's talk about some torn arteries down there. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks, guys.